بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أحسن الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. In today's lesson, inshallah, we're going to look at chapter 50 in the book Kitab-ut-Tawheed, chapter 50. And this chapter is concerning an ayah in the Quran, as Shaykhul Islam says, باب قول الله تعالى فلما آتاهما صالحا جعل له شركاء فيما آتاهما. The meaning of this verse is referring to when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows a child upon, and referring here to Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam, that they set up for him partners in that which he has given them. And this is the ayah in the Quran in Surah Al-A'raf. And based upon this verse, Shaykhul Islam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab rahimah-ullah is discussing a form or a type of shirk which is minor shirk. So concerning the ayah, Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, he says in the explanation, he says that this chapter, what is intended by this chapter, what is the point behind this chapter is that to give a name to someone in the form of abd and then something else, and to refer that to other than Allah, is shirk which damages the perfection of Tawheed, is a form of shirk that harms the perfection of a person's Tawheed. This is if a person, for example, he just wants to just give the name, right? He's not bothered about the meaning. So someone might say, for example, Abdul Kaaba, for example, right? So this is an example of when you make ta'beed. You give someone a name of abd followed by something else which is other than Allah. And if it's just giving just the name, it's just the name that you're giving, but without the meaning, without intending the meaning or the worship, then this would be a form of shirk that would damage a person's Tawheed. It would make that person's Tawheed incomplete or imperfect. And if the intention behind this name was to actually worship that thing, or to signify the worship of that thing, that someone might say, Abdul Rasul, and he means to actually worship and to be subservient to the messenger in that manner, then this would be shirk akbar. This would be the major shirk which negates a person's Tawheed. So this is what this ayah, this is what it's actually referring to, as we will see in the tafsir of this ayah in what is to follow in the rest of this chapter. So the Shaykh says that what Shaykhul Islam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab intends by this chapter heading, Babu Qawlillahi Ta'ala, and in the ayah he means what is being said regarding the tafsir, regarding the explanation of this verse. So in this verse, the Shaykh then goes on to discuss the complete verse. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-A'raf, Surah 7, verse 189 and 190, Allah says, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ وَجَعَلَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا. So here he's referring to Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa. So which the translation of this verse is that he is the one who created you from a single soul, and from that created its spouse or its partner, and meaning here Adam and Hawa. And then he says فَلَمَّا تَغَشَّاهَا, meaning that when he had relations with her, حَمَلَتْ, meaning that she became pregnant, حَمْلًا حَفِيفًا, meaning that she became pregnant initially with something that's like small, and this is referring to the stages of pregnancy, where at the beginning you have like a small, you have the various stages, like you have a nutfa, and then the alaqa, and then the mudgha, and these are the stages of the fetus goes through in the form of pregnancy. But initially it's actually very small. Hamlan hafifa, that Allah refers to in the Quran. And then Allah continues, فَمَرَّتْ بِهِ, meaning that she's able to, she's able to walk around freely, and she's able to walk and stand and sit and whatever. And the fact that she's pregnant in this way at the initial stages isn't something that causes her any problems, right? So Allah says, فَمَرَّتْ بِهِ, she's able to walk and to move around with what she's carrying. فَلَمَّا أَثْقَلَتْ, and then this refers to a later stage in pregnancy, that when she becomes heavy and it is nearing the completion or coming towards the end, and to the stage in where at which the soul will be blown into the fetus, then at this point Allah says, دَعَوَ اللَّهَ رَبَّهُمَا, right? Meaning that they too, meaning here in this context, Adam and Hawa, that they called upon their Lord. They called upon their Lord, and they requested and they asked for something from Allah. So what was it they asked? Allah says, لَإِنْ آتَيْتَنَا صَالِحًا لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ, that if you were to give us a righteous child, لَإِنْ آتَيْتَنَا صَالِحًا, that if you were to give us a child that is healthy, and his form and his shape is healthy and sound, then we would be grateful to you, right? Because obviously to be grateful is one of the obligations upon a person when he receives a ni'mah, when he receives a favor or a blessing. So then Allah says, فَلَمَّا آتَاهُمَا صَالِحًا جَعَلَ لَهُ شُرَكَاءَ فِيمَا آتَاهُمَا, and this is the part of the verse which is the chapter heading. So Allah says, so when He gave them both a child, a righteous, like a healthy, a sound child, Allah responded to their supplication, Allah responded to their dua, and He gave them a son, which is healthy and fit and righteous. جَعَلَ لَهُ شُرَكَاءَ فِيمَا آتَاهُمَا, that they set up for him, meaning they set up for Allah, partners in whatever Allah had given to them. And how did they do this? They did this because they named this child Abdul Harith. Abdul Harith. So they gave a name to this child, and they made a ta'beed of his name. They called him Abd of something which is besides Allah. So therefore they gave him a name, Abdul Harith, in respect to something that's a name other than the name of Allah. And this is called a shirk fit tasmiyah. This is called a shirk in naming a child. So then, after this ayah, Shaykhul Islam, he then brings a statement from Ibn Hazm, rahimah-ullah, and Ibn Hazm said, he quotes a statement from him, اتفقوا على تحريم كل اسم مؤبد لغير الله كعبد أمر وعبد الكعبة وغير ذلك حاشا عبد المطلب. So Ibn Hazm said that they agreed, that they, meaning the scholars, they agreed upon the prohibition of every name, كل اسم مؤبد لغير الله, meaning that every name that is abd followed by something else but which is other than Allah, that they agreed on the prohibition of all of that, such as, for example, the Abdu Amr, the servant of Amr, or Abdul Kaaba, the servant of the Kaaba, and other such things, except Abdul Muttalib, with the exception of Abdul Muttalib. So this is a statement from Ibn Hazm, and the Shaykh discusses this statement, and he says that this Ibn Hazm is a noble Imam. His real name is Abu Muhammad Ali bin Ahmad bin Sa'id bin Hazm al-Andalusi al-Qurtubi al-Zahiri. He's from Al-Andalus, and he has many works, many famous works, like Al-Muhalla, which is a famous book on fiqh, and Al-Fisl fil Milal wal Nihal, and Al-Ansab, and other famous books that he has authored. So he's a noble Imam, and he has, especially in the field of hadith. However, there are some issues that have been taken against him. From them is that sometimes that when he would refute the opposers, he would sometimes lash out with his tongue. Like he would be a bit, let's say, crude or harsh in the way that he would refute the people who opposed him. Right, so that's one thing. Secondly, he was upon the madhab of the Zahiriyya, which is